Welcome to the meeting of the State of Hawaii Board of Agriculture and Biosecurity. I am the chair, Sharon Hurd. Prior to calling this meeting to order, Jason will explain how the public can participate in this hybrid meeting, which can be accessed by video conference, telephone, or in person.
As an attendee, your microphone will be automatically muted during the meeting, unless you are providing testimony. For each agenda item you wish to testify on, please click the raise hand button found on your Zoom screen. Board staff will individually enable each testifier to unmute their microphone. When recognized by the chair, please unmute your microphone before speaking and mute your microphone after you finish speaking in order to prevent audio feedback. When testifying, you will be asked to identify yourself and the organization, if any, that you represent. Each testifier will be limited to 2 minutes of testimony per agenda item. If you are dialing in by phone, when the chairperson asks for public testimony, you may indicate you want to testify by entering star and then 9 on your phone's keypad. After entering star and then 9, a voice prompt will let you know that the host of the meeting has been notified. When recognized by the chairperson, you may unmute yourself by pressing star and then 6 on your phone. A voice prompt will let you know that you are unmuted. Once you are finished speaking, please enter star and then 6 again to mute yourself. Thank you.
Testifiers are reminded that there is a 2-minute limit of testimony per agenda item. If there is anyone testifying in this room, please be sure to come up to the mic and identify yourself before you begin. The meeting was called to order at 9:04 a.m. First on the agenda will be a roll call vote. I will take the roll call of the board members present. When your name is called, please indicate your presence with a here or present and state who, if anyone over the age of 18, is present in the room with you. This also serves as a roll call vote. For each subsequent vote, I will ask if there are any objections or abstentions. If there are none, then the motion will be approved on the same basis as the initial roll call. Dave Smith, Yelena.
Here.
Thank you. Dr. Carpenter Grewal, C.F.R. Thank you.
Present alone.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Mark Takimoto Gibe.
Present, and I'm in the office.
Thank you, Mr. Mark. Diane Lay from Hawaii County.
Present and alone.
Thank you. Nathaniel Oswald, member from Maui County, is excused. Thank you. And the Kauai member the position is currently vacant, although the legislature did approve, advise and consent, Mike Fay, who will be joining us July 1. Dr. Jason Moniz, member at large.
Present alone.
Thank you, Dr. Moniz. And Young is excused. And Jimmy Gomes, member at large.
Aloha kakayaka, present and alone.
Thank you, Jimmy. And chair is present. Marcy, we have quorum. Okay, thank you. We're going to move right into the agenda, looking at item 4A1, Agricultural Loan Division, request for approval of one direct emergency loan to Pacific Produce Incorporated, doing business as Waipoli Greens. Do we have motion to review presentation?
So moved, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy. And the second?
Second.
Diane.
I heard Diane. Thank you. Presentation by staff.
Good morning. I'm Jillian Shivey with the Agricultural Loan Division. I'm presenting the Class D emergency loan request for Pacific Produce Incorporated, doing business as Waipoli Greens. Pacific Produce has been in operation since 1997. Robert and Mary Cummins purchased the Kula farm in 2023 after completing a 6-month mentorship with the prior owner, Mr. Singleton. The Cummins bring prior large-scale farm and business managed experience to the operation. The request is for a $100,000 emergency loan at 3% interest to provide the operating capital and support necessary for infrastructure repairs following the Kona low events. Pacific Produce reported approximately $142,000 in crop losses, along with an estimated $20,000 in infrastructure damage and debris cleanup costs. Pacific Produce operates an 11-acre hydroponic farm specializing in a variety of lettuces, watercress, herbs, and green onion. Prior to the Kona Low events, the farm was on track for a profitable year after reduced revenues in 2025. The storm caused significant disruptions to the operation from high winds, heavy rain, and flooding. Needed recovery work includes road repair, repairs to the growing channels, removal of damaged product and debris, rafter repairs, and replacement of damaged equipment. The proposed emergency loan will help the farm recover from the Kona Low events by providing working capital funding for necessary repairs so the operation can maintain production and meet market commitments. Based on the applicant's established operation, demonstrated market demand, experience management, collateral coverage, guarantor support, and projected ability to service the proposed debt, staff recommends approval of loan.
Thank you, Jillian. Does anyone from the public wish to give testimony?
No hands.
No hands raised, and board discussion? Hearing, seeing none. Are there any objections or
Sorry,
abstentions?
Chair,
I'm
I just
sorry.
had a quick question.
Go
The
ahead.
photos are a little hard to, the photos are a little hard to see. Is that operation out in the field or are those greenhouses?
It's outside. So yeah, that's
Okay.
partially where the crop loss is from. So
Okay, yeah. Pretty amazing. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Ann. Any other, excuse me, any other board discussion? Hearing, seeing none. Calling for the vote. Are there any objections or abstentions? Hearing none, seeing none. The motion is approved unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Jill.
Thank
Moving on to item 4B, Agricultural Resource Management Division. This is a item B1, request for approval to issue revocable permits to Brent Sholey. TMKs 25-2-001, 10 and 16, lots number 1 and 7, Molokai Agricultural Park, Island of Molokai, County of Maui, Hawaii. Sorry, I read the motion. We are deferring this to the next meeting. Item B2, certification of acreage assessments for the Honoka'a, Hawilo, Kahuku, Molokai, Waimanalo, and Waimea irrigation systems during the 2027 fiscal year. May I have a motion to approve this request?
So moved, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy, and a second.
Second, Jason.
Thank you, Justin. Moved and seconded. Presentation by staff.
Morning, Brian Call, Department of Agriculture, Agriculture Resource Management Division. Apologies, long weekend. Let's see. So this is the annual certification of acreage assessments for the irrigation systems. The irrigation systems Honoka'a, Pauilo, Kahuku, Molokai, Waimanalo, and Waimea for the 2027 fiscal year. Section 167-19A HRS states the board shall determine and certify on or before June 30th of each year the amount of acreage assessments necessary in that fiscal year for the acquisition, construction, operation, and maintenance of irrigation facilities for each project, and the acreage of agricultural and pastoral land of each land occupier within the project. For the 2027 fiscal year, the Agricultural Resource Management Division has determined that the acreage assessments for the following irrigation systems are Honoka'a, Molokai, Waimanalo, and Waimea at $104,058, and for Kahuku, $33,505 per year. The breakdown is as follows below. Honoka'a Pauilo, 736 acres, and 6,960 for livestock. Kahuku, 168. Molokai, 3,256. Waimanalo, 960. Waimea, 684. Recommendation is that the board determine and certify that the amount of acreage assessments necessary for annual maintenance of the listed 5 irrigation systems for fiscal year 2027 are as shown, that the board determines and certifies that the acreage of agricultural and livestock lands for each land occupier within the listed irrigation system is as set forth in attachments A through E, that the board determine and certify that the agricultural lands shall bear 100% of the annual acreage assessments for the Kahuku, Molokai, Waimanalo, and Waimanalo irrigation systems, and that the board determine and certify that the agricultural and pastoral lands shall bear 70% and 30% respectively of the annual acreage assessments for the Wanaka-Apaweo irrigation system. Just as a side note, those percentages are unchanged and have been unchanged for years.
Thank you, Brian. Does anyone from the public wish to give testimony? And board discussion. We have, I'm gonna call on Jimmy Gomes and then David. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Brian, I have a quick question. You know, on your exhibit A, just for example, using your accounts and acreage, that's the first one, 6801, 7 acres, and 6803, 10 acres. Is that individual leases or how does that explain that graph to me?
Yeah, those are the acreage those are the acreage for the 6801 is the account number for the person being served or the business being served. And the acreage is the number of acreage being assessed. It's not necessarily the total acreage. It should be the usable acreage. So if there's a gully or a gulch or a road, we take that out.
So each one is an individual leasee, each account number is an individual, or can this accounts, a leasee can have more than one? Maybe he has a bundle of them, you know what I mean? He has several leases, but they're still under that.
There is 1 meter per lot. So a lessee who has more than one lot, and this is also, irrigation water is also available to non-state Department of Agriculture lessees. So you can be a owner of a lot along an irrigation line and apply for service. So just want to make that clear. It's not just state accounts. But in any case, if a person has more than one lot being served, each lot should have its own meter and its own irrigation account number.
And is there a break for agricultural and pastoral for an account?
Yes.
There is.
Yes. Well, yeah. So the accounts for they have to be calculated differently. And the only place that it has a pastoral rate is the Big Island. There's no other, there's no allowance or use for any other system that we have. Really, the only other pastoral lots we have are on Maui, but we don't run a irrigation system on Maui.
Thank you.
Recognizing Dave Smith.
Yeah, Brian, how do you make the determination to say it's unchanged? How are the original each that kind of
For the percentages?
Yeah,
for the percentages, it was something that was, I guess, in 20 years ago. Clearly, any system not Big Island only has diversified ag, so that's always going to be 100%, and that's by statute and rule. Big Island has been allowed, so we looked at like water usage and stuff like that the ranchers use versus diversified, and set it up that way as kind of just a percentage thing. So that's kind of how that was done.
So the agricultural acreage, that just carries forward every year, like that was determined.
Oh, the acreage itself.
Yeah.
The acreage itself, again, similar to the answer to Jim Member Gomes' question, is based on the acreage of the parcel itself of usable agricultural land.
And you guys make that determination, or the user makes that determination?
Generally, we do at the time of appraisal. So the appraiser is asked to kind of take a look when the appraisal is going through.
Thank
Diane Lay?
Thank you, Chair. Brian, so you mentioned that there was no change in percentage on the acreage, but was there a difference in the acreage assessment between the fiscal years 26 and 27?
Yeah, clarification. So there is a slight change in the actual acreage. Some people have opted to, like if they have their own land, they have opted to ask to be withdrawn for the system. The changes are relatively small, 5% or less. I'm sorry, what was the second part of the question?
Was the overall acreage assessment, so like for the Honoka'a Pauilo,
Gotcha.
it's 104. Was it 104 last year?
No,
Or this
it was, I want to say it was about 99. The dollar amount itself is calculated based on the fiscal year ceiling of the irrigation program. So the fiscal year ceiling was bumped a little bit, so that shows in the total that's being requested.
Okay. I think it'd be, a little bit more transparent in the future if, you identified the change, just so, people are aware of increasing costs or
Okay,
they would be shocked if there is not increasing costs, I think.
gotcha.
Thanks,
Understood,
Brian.
thank you.
Diane, I have a question about your question. Could you say that again, that you want, what is the action you're asking Ag Resource Management to do?
Oh, in the future, if the submittal can reflect the acreage assessment for the current fiscal year and the proposed fiscal year, so that the board and the public can see the proposed change in dollar amount, whether it drops or increases. Make sense? Compare year to year.
Yeah, he's nodding his head, Diane, he gets it. And the
Okay,
reason that I
thank
brought
you.
that up is my question to Administrator Kyle would be, does Act 90 lands, does that make any change to this chart that we're looking at?
It could. It's a case by case scenario, right? If the parcel that comes across is in a vicinity of an irrigation system, then they could apply for service if they are not already. But if the parcel is someplace that we don't have a system, then no.
Then they're on their own.
Yeah, they would be receiving water from Department of Water or possibly catchment or something.
Okay, so that's a clarification that I appreciate, because your statement earlier said that the only pastoral we have is on Hawaii Island and a few on Maui, but you only meant that we send water from us.
Yeah.
This is related to
clarify with David's question, but absolutely correct. Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and the reason is because we know of some on Oahu that are pastoral,
Yeah,
but-
those are served by county.
but they don't take water from us.
No.
Okay. Any other further board discussion? Nope, hearing seeing none. Calling for the vote. Are there any objections or abstentions? Hearing seeing none, the motion is approved unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to item BC. Request for approval to increase the base water toll delivery charge by no more than 2 cents per 1,000 gallons to all system irrigation users under the Hawaii Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity irrigation systems. May I have a motion to approve the request?
So move, Jimmy.
Thank you again, Jimmy. And second,
Second, Diane.
thank you, Diane. Presentation by staff.
Thank you. Please forgive me, I'm going to read this one page because it's not as, we only started doing this last year, so it's not as something that we've been doing. So I'll read the whole thing for the board. Okay. Chapter 4-157-21, Hawaii Administrative Rules, allows the Board of Agriculture and Biosecurity to establish irrigation systems, rate, and charges. Chapter 4-157-21 also states that effective July 1, 2011, the board may adjust base water toll charges by no more than 2 cents per 1,000 gallons of irrigation water delivered once each fiscal year. On May 27, 2025, BAB allowed an increase of water delivery rates for all users effective July 1st, 2025, from 50 cents per 1,000 gallons to 52 cents per 1,000 gallons. Previously, the last increase to water delivery charges were during fiscal year period 2006 through 2011, when water delivery toll charges were increased from 32 cents to 50 cents per 1,000 gallons. Chapter 167-22 HRS requires the Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity to establish an irrigation system revolving fund. The fund is used to operate and maintain the irrigation systems. The irrigation system revolving fund should be self-sufficient and is supported by revenue from water delivery fees, acreage assessments, and legislative appropriations. Currently, the irrigation program is not self-sufficient. It is subsidized by the general fund and maintains its balance by deferring necessary purchases. This fund, which requires a portion of the irrigation system, this fund, which carries a portion of the irrigation program labor costs, allows DAB to keep the irrigation system rates low, but does not fulfill the requirements of 167-22. The 2025 legislature appropriated $2 million to the revolving fund to address deferred issues, with the understanding that the department would implement rate increases until the program became self-sufficient. A previous study conducted by the program proposed that the rate be immediately raised to $1.11 per 1,000 gallons. The appropriation has given the program the opportunity to implement the increases incrementally instead of one large step. Recommendation that the board approve an increase of water delivery rate charges for all users effective July 1st, 2026, from 52 cents per 1,000 gallons to 54 cents per 1,000 gallons. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Does anyone from the public wish to give testimony?
No hands raised, Chair.
Okay, board discussion. I'm sorry, Dave, I'm gonna call him Dad, I didn't see it.
Thank you, Chair. Brian, I just have a quick question. How many years is it projected till, be on track to be self-sufficient?
We project out only about 6 years, so it's at least through that. So this will become an annual request, primarily because it's something that we told the legislature that we would do in I guess, exchange for the help of the $2 million appropriation last year. The proposed increase back in 2024, I believe it was to $1.11. So potentially it could go that high, but instead of it being 1 year, it could be 20 years until we get there. So it is an unfortunate thing that we have to come before the board every year to ask for, but it is a heck of a lot better than going directly to $1.11 in 1 year.
Was that okay, sufficient? Okay, moving on to
Yes,
Steve.
thank you.
Yeah, I had a similar, thanks for the answer. I had the same question, but at that rate, it's gonna take like 28 years to reach $1.11 or something like that.
Yeah.
But a comment to Dave Smith's comment was that this year, through the green fee, the legislature has appropriated 1.5 million for a kind of like a study to implement the public safety power shutoff. We're going to implement a solar powered system where some of the electricity costs will be offset. Maybe that'll help with the operational costs. We're looking into it. So we also have an earmark going through the Codell right now for 4 million. So there are actions afoot because it was an alarming increase. I think even to our resource management folks that the water rates would have to go up that high. So we're looking at things right now to mitigate that kind of an increase. No doubt there'll be increases in the future, but maybe not so large. So there are programs afoot. If you have any ideas, let us know.
We did the previous study. It says previous study. That's by your program?
Yeah.
And that's based on what? Is that like market rate or something?
No, it's based on income expense. It's all it is. It's how do we break even?
Yeah. And you were supposed to break even, but not no longer?
It's always been a struggle. The issue is that the program came over from DLNR back in, I think the statute was created back in '86. But when the program came over, although there was initial seed money, the problem was that under Division of Water and Land, so way back when, the whole program operated under the general fund. So they didn't do any rate increases as far back as I can research. So I believe at that time it was 11 cents. And it had been that forever. So when it first came over, we were, because of the change in funding source from general to revolving, we were immediately required to meet the restrictions of the revolving fund in order to become self-sufficient. So while there was an original seed to get the program running, we were under the gun from the beginning from the benefit of DLNR being under general fund.
So it essentially operates as an agricultural subsidy.
It does right now.
The user fee kind of.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we want to use the word user fee,
Sorry.
the watcher delivery fee.
Well, it's a user fee that's subsidized.
It's a watcher delivery fee.
You haven't paid the cost. Okay, thanks.
And recognizing Jimmy.
Just curious, Brian, why wasn't this addressed between 2011 and 2025? There was a lull in between there. It's a
That
14-year
is-
gap.
That's a great question. We had actually proposed a few increases in the middle, but due to political
Politics.
concerns, yeah, we were asked to
Different.
reassess the request.
They'd ask you to go behind. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for the hard questions, Jimmy.
Any other board discussion? Hearing, seeing none, calling for the vote. Are there any objections or recusals? I'm sorry, objections or abstentions? Hearing none, seeing none. The motion is approved unanimously. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, folks.
Moving on to item 4C, Agricultural Development Division. Request for the approval of the adoption of HAR Chapter 4-61 Food Hub Grant Program. May I have a motion to approve the request?
So move, Jimmy.
Thank you, Mr. Gomes. And second,
Second, Diane.
and thank you again, Diane. Presentation by Steph.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, board members. I'm Yukashi Smith, Acting Administrator for the Agricultural Development Division. Today, I'm here to request for approval of the adoption of proposed Chapter 4-61 Hawaii Administrative Rules entitled Food Hub Grant Program to proceed to Small Business Regulatory Review Board, SBRRB, public hearing, and authorization to finalize and post the new rules on the governor's HARPS portal for final approval of and the governor's signature on proposed Chapter 4-61 Hawaii Administrative Rules. So please let me explain about background. The ADD, Agricultural Development Division, started drafting this rule back in 2022. And ADD requested on November 29, 2022, for preliminary approval of proposed adoption of Chapter 4-61 HAR to the Board of Agriculture at that time, and then the board approved. And after that, March 9, 2026, our department conducted public hearing at the boardroom in Honolulu in person and by Zoom in conjunction with the HIR Chapter 4-8 amendment by the Agro Division. So we attached the public hearing minutes on this packet. From page C41, and we have some one questions about the hearing at the hearing, and the question was answered. And we also had the testimonies in support of this creation of these rules. And you can see those testimony on page C51, C53, C54, and C56. So after that hearing, we will now try to propose a very minor changes of the preliminary approved Chapter 4-61 HAR. There are two minor changes. The first one is to add biosecurity to the department's name. So during this delayed period, our department name changed to Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity from Department of Agriculture. So we are adding that name in the title page, C3, and also in the new rules, in the rule and the definition, page C4, and also the acknowledgement, page C11. So, and another change is basically we are adding citations of the law, SLH 2022, Act 313, Section 2, to each section. So if you see the rules, except the first subchapter 4-61-1 purpose, we added oath and imp, SLH 2022, Act 313, Section 2 to oath, and in imp we added SLH 2022, Act 313, Section 1. This is the only citation we cited from Section 1. Other than that, we all added Section 2 to all each sections. So with these changes, we recommend the Board of Agriculture and Biosecurity to approve the adoption of proposed Chapter 4-61 Hawaii Administrative Rules entitled Food Hub Grant Program to proceed to Small Business Regulatory Review Board public hearing and allow the chairperson to proceed in posting proposed HAR Chapter 4-61 on the Governor's ARPS web portal for Governor's review, approval, and signature. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Yukashi. Does anyone from the public wish to give testimony?
No.
No hands are raised. A board discussion? Jimmy?
Questions. Back on page C49, where Wayne Takamini explains the different categories of loans, I would like an explanation, or just tell me what is micro loan program up to 50,000 and what is soil and water program up to 750,000. Can you
Okay,
tell me
so
a little bit
Jimmy-
about that?
Sure, sure. I'm gonna ask if is there, Jason, anybody from the Ag Loan Program online?
Wait.
Wayne, do you mind, Wayne, unmuting yourself and answering those questions? Sorry, question. Hey, Wayne. Wayne, would you like Jimmy to restate the question? Or I'm sorry, remember Jimmy Gomes?
Is Wayne, are you available?
Board, he might be having some technical difficulties. But we'll give him some time to get on board, okay? Member Gomes, and then we'll move on to the next question. Jimmy, is that okay?
Yeah, I have one more. I have a third question, but I can wait for the other ones.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to Diane.
Thank you, Chair. Yukashi, thank you, first of all, for moving forward with the draft rules and bringing back to the board. Appreciate that very much. I had a question with reference to the 1 million that's appropriated for grants for the food hub. Is that an annual appropriation? Is it a line item, or was it just a one-time?
Diane, Yukashi has given me, the heads up that I can respond, because that is actually something that the chair's office has taken. It's authorized by Act 185, passed in 2025. The 1 million was given to food hubs so that they can provide the infrastructure. The funds were to provide the food hubs with the infrastructure to do business with institutions. And the authority for that goes back to Act 313, the origin of the food hub law, which established a 5-year pilot program. And so this actually, Act 185, is you can either look at it as Act 2, year 2 or year 3 of the 5-year pilot, because in between there was another act that didn't reference Act 313. All that detail just to say that Act 185 for passed last year, 2025, is actually to enhance the ability of food hubs to do business with institutions, which require that all food that they accept be food safety certified. And that was the intent of this second year or third year of the food hub pilot program. We expect another 2 or 3 years, depending on how the legislature interprets Act 185. So let's say we're in year 3 of the 5-year pilot program. We have not yet determined, or the legislature, the process has not yet determined what years following would be what the program would do. But it is a pretty much standing 1.5 million every year to support the food hubs.
Thank you very much for that explanation. Appreciate it.
That's
good news.
And so if you have an idea for the next 2 years, knock yourself out. Because you do food hubs a lot. I see Wayne is
Thank you.
Wayne, calling on you. Jimmy, Wayne is here. Do you mind restating your questions for him?
I would just like Wayne to explain item on your categories, different categories of loans. What is micro loan program up to 50,000, and what is soil and water program up to 750,000? Can't hear you, Wayne.
Goes
We'll give you another couple seconds, Wayne, to fiddle around. Still nothing. Okay, so Member Gomes will probably have to get back to the board in writing.
Okay, and can I ask my third question?
Please.
Go to page C53. It's a testimony from an anonymous community member. Let's go to the second to the last paragraph. Lastly, I encourage the department to share that paragraph right there. You see that?
We do.
I would just like to, what is the department's response to this?
Okay, so with this transparency on the Food Hub pilot program, the first year was an RFP. So we certainly that's transparent. The results are online. We can provide, we'll certainly in the future be able to do that. This year's Food Hub pilot program, the transparency would be what was purchased. I can probably tell you that we will comply. It's different for every food hub. I'll use the same example that I used before. The institutions, the schools, the cafeterias mostly, that's the biggest one we have, right? They don't use shelled eggs. So getting an egg washer, which is what you need for food safety for eggs, is probably not the only piece of equipment they'll need. I don't know if how they'll, whatever it is, they'll need an egg cracker. So if that's the kind of machinery infrastructure that a food hub in an area with a lot of, are you there, Wade? No, so we will provide that kind of detail, Jimmy, but right now I don't have the information to give you.
And the last part of that question, and I know it's long term, it's not short term, is to the Food Hub for rural or unserved communities across neighbor islands.
In fact, that is precisely the language in Act 313. The intent is to increase access to institution and markets for the rural communities. The main thing, however, is food safety. So we're working through the Group Gap program because of the record keeping and expense of becoming food safety certified in the rural areas. It really doesn't pencil out for them. So that's the community actually that their bill intended to serve. And we are working towards that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Yukashi? Seeing none. Calling for the vote. Oh,
I'm online.
Wayne, hallelujah.
Yeah. The public hearing that we had included Chapter 4-8 HAR, which is the Agricultural Loan Division amended rules. That was approved by the board last month. So we had done the public hearing with both Chapter 4-8 and 4-61, and I'll just recap a few things. A microloan is actually a loan that the loan division has developed to make it easier to access funds under $50,000. And so the rules are a little bit more lenient. There are no, excuse me, there are no letters of denials required for these, and it depends on who applies for it. Actually, there's rules just to make it more easier. There's also no board meeting for farmers who don't have a balance on our loan portfolio. If they do exceed 50,000 on their balance, then we will come to the board and present the loan request. The other thing is, I think you said soil and water. That is
Correct.
That was a different category of loans. So we would have to do it on basis of what they submitted. We don't
So
do
what
very
would be
many.
the scope? What would be the scope of soil to get a loan? What would the leasing be asking for this kind of a loan for soil? Is for soil testing, soil replenishment?
I guess those things would probably come into play. We would have to see what they present to us as their purpose for the loan, and then we would apply the purposes to the loan request.
And water would be water infrastructure? I don't know. Reservoirs?
I believe it could be, yeah. but we don't get a lot of those. I haven't seen one recently. We would have to go and look and discuss this with the administrator and with
So
the
how
staff.
did you come with a parameter of 750,000? If we don't
That
know
was
what
with
it is?
that was through Act 069 that was signed. So that's stature that was done by the legislature. The other part is that sufficient?
Well, that's all I mean, I'd like to know more about the soil and water, but you cannot tell me
Yeah. Let me get back to you more,
that. Okay,
Mr. Gold.
all right, Wayne, thanks.
Thank you. And then I think the last question was about the testimony given. And this was given by actually one of the loan division staff members who were looking to clarify some things in the line of credit, wanted to put in more definition. So we presented that in our public hearing. Is there something in there that you have a question about?
Are we good, Jimmy?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, there will be follow-up with soil and water parameters. Thank you for that. Any other further discussion by the board? Okay, hearing seeing none, we're calling for the vote. Are there any objections or abstentions? Hearing seeing none, the motion is approved unanimously. Thank you, precious. Okay, moving on to old business, none, and then moving on to new business, item 6. Under new business, we do have a non-action item. Our update on the plant quarantine interim rule 26-1, which regulates the transportation of coconut rhinoceros beetle host material on Hawaii Island.
Excuse me, Chair, before we get Jonathan, can you
Yep.
tell me why did we defer B1?
I don't know. I'm just told it's deferred and the reason really doesn't, I think the submittal was withdrawn. Okay, legal tells me the submittal was withdrawn.
So they're gonna bring it up next meet, they weren't bringing it up for this meeting.
Yeah, I understand your concern because that's in your county, but it was withdrawn.
Yeah. Okay, well, I had some questions, but I'll address it when he comes back to the board.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jonathan.
Yeah, good afternoon, Chair, members of the board, Jonathan Ho, Plant Quarantine Branch Manager. Just a real quick update regarding Plant Quarantine Interim Rule 26-1 related to CRB on CRB, the movement of CRB host material on Hawaii Island. The board approved the rules and the training in the rules. The training was to be implemented by the Big Island Invasive Species Committee. They conducted, about 10 classes over 4 days. Was it 10, 3, 6, 9? Maybe 12 classes. 12 classes over 4 days at the end of April. So I think it was the 22nd, 23rd, 29th, and the 30th to train people on the requirements and to provide the branch with the trainees so that we could issue the compliance agreements and then post them online for the so that the folks who are doing a lot of or some of the requirements in the compliance agreement know who is certified or not. So the trainings have occurred. BISC has provided a number of the compliance agreements for processing, and they worked a lot with the petitioners to kind of get the word out in the Kona area. The branch is unfortunately delayed in getting those done, and we're going to get those done this week and post them on the department's website where the rule is and the blank applications are, so that everyone knows where to get those done. And there is talk about from the petitioner about increasing the interim rule to include another area, but that's going to have to be done at another board meeting But yeah, that's basically it for now.
Board, you guys in the video, what the chair and Jonathan guys are all frozen.
Agree with Jimmy on that.
They're gone.
Gotta put them on defrost. Well, should the board say we move to adjourn?
I don't think we have quorum.
Yeah. You know, Parwinder, I'd rather see your name when you says Carol or Cheryl, Sitar.
Yeah, I try to change it as quickly as so that you don't notice it. But I cannot escape. I don't know what we are connected to right now. If the host is not there.
I'll text Marcy and see if she knows what's going on.
I think we're still in the public meeting though.
I think so too.
So
Yeah.
I think the public is still, there's 10 people on this meeting.
Yeah.
Public members still viewing
So
the
we
meeting.
best behave ourselves.
We
have no quorum anyway, so we have no power. I'll text Marcy.
Thank you. Thank you.
They're frozen.
Jonathan did finish his speech, right?
Yes, he did. It was real,
Yeah.
it was simple.
Yeah, so this meeting was headed to be concluded sooner.
Yeah. Sooner get rid, the better.
Yeah.
Marcy's responding now. You guys can't hear anything, yeah?
Excuse me?
You can't hear them, yeah?
No, I can smell.
Behave yourself. I know it's hard, you're a cattleman.
That's right.
She says, she was asking if we can hear her. She says they don't have, and now she's saying we don't have connection. Oh, there's DOT.
Where's the IT?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Are we?
Hey, you guys back. You guys are live.
Yeah, thanks. It could have been anything.
I'll tell her they froze again.
Put them back in the freezer.
It's Monday after, Tuesday after a 3-day weekend.
Memorial Day, maybe they buried the meeting. Yeah, they're frozen.
Marcy said that they had 30 minutes to get back on. He's trying to fix it. At least Jonathan and Sharon look happy.
Yeah.
Jason
The IT guy
doesn't.
frozen.
He looks like, dang. Okay, they're working on it again.
Thank you, Diane.
Yeah. No problem, easy.
Yeah, we could do some work.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the good things about COVID is we all learned to work electronically. It's good.
Before the bars.
Yeah, mine is.
I think we're back on track. So let's quickly, before we go back.
Okay, gotta wait for Jen.
Yeah.
You guys came on temporarily, now they're frozen again.
I'll text again.
There's a question from one of the attendees, but I don't think we're able. We got to wait till IT comes back on. So if the person from if the person from the public could be just patient until everybody returns.
And two people had raised their hands, Fanny Morgan
really?
or Fanny Brewer and
Oh yeah. Pohaku.
yeah,
Okay.
Stone.
Yes, we will. They're stuck again, yeah, I think. Yeah.
You see with their hands up. Maybe they are resting the chair. Carol or Cheryl, you got anything to say?
None. No comment. Hey, Jimmy, will you be there tomorrow? We have a faculty interview in Maui.
For what position?
It's farm production and management.
Oh, cool. What's the duties of the
Pardon?
farm production management?
Yeah, so it is related to a position that looks at managing farm operations,
We're back.
helping
This is
farmers
continuous
with
data, that's gonna be all like.
For
that
now.
aspect.
We're back on for now.
Okay, thank you. Are we back online as well?
For now.
For now, okay, quickly. Jonathan,
No, he's done.
he's done? Okay, any question? No, can't take questions.
Testimony.
Any testimony from the public on the item?
Yes.
Oh, Stephanie. Nice to see you. Major, the internet came back just for you.
Let's see. Phones everywhere.
Board, we do have someone in the room wishing to give public testimony.
Oh, came back.
Good morning, Chair, members of the board. My name is Stephanie Usley with the Coordinating Group on Alien Pest Species. I'm going to try as hard as I can to tell 2 stories in my 2 minutes. So my first story is comparing the spread of CRB on Oahu versus Kauai. When CRB was originally detected on Oahu, it was partly on military property. They put a restriction on the movement of CRB host material. There was no corresponding restriction put on outside that property, but that restriction is one of the reasons that experts say that it took 7 to 10 years for CRB to be as widespread as it is on Oahu. Kauai, when it was discovered there was no restriction put on, and it was widespread within 2 years. And Big Island, with its compliance agreement program, is asking to follow the Oahu model, to have 7 to 10 years to work on what they have and hopefully get that biocontrol agent that we're all waiting for. The second story is a story of 2 compliance agreements. There is a compliance agreement program for the island of Oahu that was adopted by this board. It was effective January of last year. It's section 472.23. It has never been implemented. There is no compliance agreement program on Oahu. We know that PQB is very busy. There's a lot of demands, but it is in the rule that the public did come to meetings and ask for and testified in favor of. In the case of Big Island now, we have another compliance agreement program. This is a citizen's petition. The community came before this board, asked for the program, and you approved it. We're 2 months into a 12-month program. Not one compliance agreement has been signed. Some of the rollout issues, as much work as Big Island Invasive Species Committee is doing at no cost to DAB, they need support from the regulatory agency. They cannot get the big box stores to comply by asking them nicely. There's certain actors who will only comply if DAB, as the regulator says, you have to. And so they're looking for that support. We put in our testimony 3 suggestions: having a PQB point person that is either on Hawaii Island or could travel regularly to Hawaii Island, having weekly communication meetings between that person and BISC, and then having a report back next time. Because, you know, to be perfectly honest, it's not just, they weren't just asking for the adoption of the paper compliance agreement program. They want the rollout and the client program to be carried out. And so that's hopefully what you will discuss today. And thank you for hearing my testimony. Mahalo.
Oh, thank you, Stephanie. Is
Any
the
other-
question still up?
No,
okay. Any other testimony from the public?
One hand raised.
One hand raised.
Just, we have to do.
Okay. Franny, you're being recognized.
Hi, Manager, Big Island Invasive Species Committee. Thanks for having me today. I did submit written testimony. I'm not sure if the board got it, but it does have links and stuff in there that kind of show a lot of the stuff that we've done. I just wanted to second everything that Stephanie said. Thank you, Stephanie. But I wanted to share what we've done because I know that the petitioners were asking for a report on what had happened. So I just wanted to share what BISC had done so that everyone's aware. We actually offered 26 compliance agreement trainings as of Friday. Friday was our day of 26 trainings. So far, we've trained 164 individuals, 19 entities. And some of them are open and some of them were going on site. And I do want to acknowledge, the folks that have helped us with this. The County of Hawaii and Terraformation have offered their venues for us to be able to go in and offer those open trainings. We do create booklets that each participant gets that has some of the slides and the training materials. We have like a quick guide ring that you can also download, but we create laminated cards that can be shared with the participants so they have easy ID materials. So we're really trying to make it not just sitting through an hour presentation, but like providing support to those entities that are attending the compliance training so that they can be more aware and more active on CRB. We have been promoting it on social media and through email and through flyers and all of that stuff. But there are still a lot of folks in that area who have not heard about it or, aren't sure what their responsibility is. So we, would hope we are asking that we see DAB do a little bit more in the realm of promotion of this or doing outreach on this in addition to what we're doing. We do have an issue with the big box stores, as Stephanie pointed out, because we had heard from several of the participants that other businesses that they were talking to, so people who did come were telling us that other people weren't going to come because they refused to do it unless they could see that the big box stores were also being held to account. And we did get someone from PQB finally to come out. I think last week we had somebody, about a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, to go out to Home Depot. So they did go out to Home Depot, and Home Depot said they will become compliant, but it's going to take months for them to become compliant. And so this is something that we were aware of back in January. I first notified PQB about this. We were hoping that there could be some advance warning to the big box stores because they are going to have to create a way to put all of their mulch and soil into some kind of containment overnight. That's part of the compliance agreement. And that's not currently happening. So although they said they're willing to comply, they said it's going to take them several months before they can get there. And I think we just need, again, it's just sort of been this lack of urgency with this, that this really needs to be taken more urgently. Until if you have people not willing to comply until they see that other places are compliant, like this, there, I don't know, there's a lack of sort of like urgency and cohesion that I think is kind of hurting this rollout a little bit. I do agree with Stephanie's suggestion that if there was someone, the person that we got from PQB in Kona who came out to work, go to Home Depot on the visit with us, was great, very enthusiastic, very positive. If we could have a member of PQB that's on island that could work with us regularly, I think that would go a long way. So I want to echo that suggestion from Stephanie. And yeah, I don't know what the status is of the compliance agreements that I have sent over. So we're getting questions from people who attended as far back as in April. They're wondering, where's my compliance agreement? So just sort of a timeline on that, even if it's like, oh, well, it's going to take 4 weeks or 6 weeks, at least if we can tell people this is how long it's going to take, that would be great.
Stephanie, do you mind summarizing?
Yeah, I'm at the end.
Franny, I'm talking to Franny.
I'm at the end. So some of the trainees are asking, there's a part of the rules that says that the DAB is going to inspect within 6 months, they're going to come and inspect the premises. And they're asking what the context is for that. Like what should they expect? How is that going to happen? And I don't have any information on that. So we would ask if we could get some information on that. And that's all.
Franny? David?
Yeah.
Sorry.
We still have another test.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Pohaku, I'm gonna let you.
Thank you. Recognizing Pohaku online.
Aloha, Leila Kealoha from Pohaku Pelemaka. Good morning, Chair and members of the Board and Agriculture and Biosecurity. Thank you for allowing me to testify this morning. I'm glad we could get to this point. I just want to reiterate the urgency of this matter on our island. We're already being reactive to this situation. We're trying to be as much as we can, like proactively to mitigate this issue with the CRB. As Stephanie mentioned, you know, this agreement was signed, or this rule was signed on March 24th or 25th, and we're on May 26th. So we really only have 10 months left for this interim rule. I want to know what our next steps are. I want to thank BISC for being on board, for doing these trainings. I think it's imperative that we get these compliance agreements signed. There's still tons of people that need to go through this process, such as the landscapers and the hotels in these areas and the homeowners associations that are hiring out people. We really need boots on the ground. And so I want to ask the department and our board, what resources are you folks giving to support this interim rule on our island? We really need someone that's positioned in the area of Kona to help with this process. So I just would like to ask, what are our next steps? How are we going to ensure that this rule is being carried out efficiently and that we're being proactive as much as we can? I also want to ask, because we were informed that your folks' POI position is no longer the public information, or PIO, public information officer, retired, and that there was no real press release that went out. This is critical. We need the press release to go out. We need it sent to our mayor, and we need to ask our mayor to put this out into our county as well. It takes many people working together to get this to work. And as I mentioned in my last time I met with you folks back in March, that we're here for the long haul. We're not here just to ask for this to be something to be implemented, but we're here for the long haul. This is it's a critical matter. And so I really want to ask for your folks' support in this, implementing this interim rule. And it's going to take having boots on the ground, working with BISC, working with the community to be able to make this a success. So I'm just asking for your support, and I appreciate the time for my giving my testimony. I just want to know what the next steps are. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pohaku. Moving on to a comment from the board. Sorry,
Wait, is there any more testimony? That's okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so that's just making sure.
Oh, wait a minute, now we've got two people raising hands.
Board members.
Oh, the board members, okay.
Board
Comments
discussion.
from the board discussion stated?
Okay, yeah, so I have some testimony from DLNR, Division of Forest and Wildlife, the Invasive Species Program. And so the testimony, I'll go ahead and send it in RCC. I did try to take notes on everything, but so the coconut ear nostril beetle was detected in Kona on the Big Island, began spreading at an alarming rate. The Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity was petitioned to issue the plant quarantine interim rule 26-1 to prevent or slow the human-assisted spread of the CRB Hawai. The interim rule relies on collaboration with local businesses to transport CRB host material, to enter into compliance agreements, receive CRB training, use best management practices to prevent or slow the spread of CRB. The Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity collaborated with the CRB response program and the Big Island invasive species on interim rule 26 and others for hardware centers. Interim rule 26-1 took effect on March 25th, 2026, and all covered businesses were required to complete the training and entered into compliance agreements by May 1st, 2026. BISC has offered 26 trainings, and so we're just wondering, has DAB signed and issued any of the compliance agreements to businesses that have received the training? To successfully implement interim rule 26-1, the owner strongly recommends that DAB designates a local PQ inspector as point of contact for enforcing compliance agreements with BISC and CRB responsive Kona, and hold regular communication and coordination meetings to ensure that businesses comply with the best management practices outlined and required by the compliance agreement program. PQ should report to this board on the progress in enforcing the compliance agreements at the next meeting. And we'd just like to say the CRB has the potential to cost the state hundreds of millions of dollars in economic, cultural, and natural resource damages If it becomes widespread and established, these costs would be borne by both government and private landowners, making investment in CRB control highly cost effective. DLNR urges staff to act urgently.
Thank you. Calling on Dr. Moniz.
Yeah, some questions for Jonathan. Do you have an employee that can focus on Interim Rule 26.1 full time?
Yeah, this discussion.
Not full time, but and so one of the biggest challenges is like we said when we created the rule, there's only 3 employees in Kona, and they have their own duties and responsibilities to make sure cargo is moving, and you know, and a lot of the challenges as it relates to implementation of intra-island rules, and so I think trying to figure out a point person. If it is going to be somebody on island, it's probably going to be somebody in Hilo, because they have more staff there. But yeah, I mean, I guess we could try, but yeah, we definitely couldn't get a full-time person. That just doesn't exist on that island.
Does the compliance agreement have deadlines? Do you have a deadline for the compliance agreements being in place?
Yes, and we're behind on it.
And what about the big box stores? You got anybody assigned to work with these stores to get them in compliance?
Yeah, so like Franny said, they went out earlier this month, and we're trying to figure out solutions to bridge the gap until they can do some of the storage issues, to manage the storage issues as it relates to green waste, or not green waste, but the movement of compost, which is the biggest
compost
challenge.
is what their bagged compost that they sell
Yes.
from the stores. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. And they don't have containers that they can containerize the thing at night?
I think they may, but I don't, looking at I mean, I'm not super familiar with the store. But I think they're a little limited, I think, in terms of the space. But again, yeah, trying to come up with a solution for that as it relates to the movement. I think one of the challenges is that, I mean, so a lot of the stuff that is coming in is either imported, so obviously doesn't have CRB, or it's going to be from Oahu and it's subject to treatment. So the risk is really reinfestation at the site before movement is what you're kind of seeing on Oahu. So it's trying to, the compliance agreement is designed to basically eliminate that risk for all intents and purposes.
Right. You know, I'm gonna make this comment again. Looking at this situation, looking at the resources available, I mean, Big Island Invasive Species Council seems like they're doing their part in the training. I don't know how many, what percentage of the people or the organizations have been trained and how much is left to do, but I just don't see that it's going to get done with the resources you have without setting something up like an incident command system and pulling in resources from other departments, including DLNR, to assist with this, to get it rolling, get it in place. And then there's enforcement that, you guys got to be looking at enforcement pretty quick if you're getting pushback from these big box stores. So.
Dr. Moniz? We have reached out. Right now, we're focusing on green waste because Big Island has huge piles of green waste everywhere. And we do have an agreement we reached with third-party persons to fumigate. And so we're tackling the life cycle as we can. And nobody's saying we can't do everything, but we did start with an emergency IFB for a contractor to do fumigation for green waste, and we're doing really well with that. As far as the big box stores, we are responding. Unfortunately, as we do with so many things in our department, we're complaint driven. So when we see a complaint, we respond to that, and working through that, I think the department's doing as best they can. And thank goodness for the ISKs whose job it is to reach out and do training, and they're doing a great job with that. They're filling that gap for us, because we can't be everywhere. But thank you for BISC and ISKs, because as their job is to do outreach and training, I don't know how we do it without them. So thank you for that. So we do have funding coming in, the new tranche of once the July 1st budget goes in. Dr. Winnie's, and we hear we're gonna put more resources in, and if it's a third party that we need to get, there is something, and I've mentioned it before, the D40. The D40 says if a state person can do the job, you are not allowed to hire an outsider to do that. So in this case, we need to start hiring again. I mean, we need to go through that process. So there are challenges. We see what the problem is, and we're gonna get them one at a time. We'll check the boxes. Some science-based solutions are tougher to get to. Okay, and we have Jimmy Gomes.
Yeah, I want to echo what Dave Smith said, as well as Jason Muniz. And, you know, I know that you're understaffed and so forth, but I think some of the non-action items that we have monthly, we should address this as much as we can, so we can be as transparent as we can. And so you don't have the questions of boots on the ground, or we've not seen help, but at least the people, we can satisfy the people, or can see where the bottlenecks are, just to keep on top of things a little bit more. And I know you guys are doing the best that you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Dr. Moniz, your hand is still up.
Yeah, it's not the first time I mentioned incident command. It just seems to get tossed under the table. So I don't know if Jonathan or somebody can get back to me on that to say, hey, we can handle this and get this in place by this date, or yeah, we should really consider getting resources from outside the department. I'm not talking about private entities. We're talking about bringing in other state departments to participate in an instant command response. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Diane?
Thank you, Chair. I just want to mahalo the ISKs and CGAPs for their continued attention to this, as well as PQ and staff. As I know it's a challenge standing this up, but we've got to all stick with it and appreciate the ideas that are coming forward and the effort. Also appreciate you folks that are working on the fumigation of the green waste or green resources. So appreciate that. It's a good stopgap. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Further board discussion? Hearing, seeing none. We are going to call, I'm going to do it again anyway. Calling for a motion to adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn. Thank you. And meeting adjourned 10:30 in the morning. Next meeting is Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. See you all then. Thank you.